Unfortunately, carbon is off the menu. Can I interest you in some fragments of silicon?
Alright, welcome to another installment of the Fragments Silicon Daylight interviews. Been a while since we've done one of these, not from a lack of trying, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, joining us today are the three-person team that make up Cruxel Studios. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, we have Luis Gutiérrez.
Yep, that's me.
Pablo Moreno.
That's me.
And Alberto Navarro.
Yeah, you say it right.
Right. So how we like to get started here is we like to get to know the people behind the game studio and all that business, and we do that by asking this particular question: what got you interested in video games, both on a personal and a professional level?
Mm-hmm. So, who starts?
Well, we've always been gamers. We've always played video games since we were kids. I mean, a lot of people, I guess. But I really got into video games and the art of making video games. During high school, I started programming a bit on with Game Maker Studio, and I was a big fan of indie games like Fez and Braid. You know, the games that appeared on Indie Game the movie and such, and I have always had that dream of becoming like those people. I'm sorry I get stuck with my English. I'm not fluent.
It's fine. I think you're getting the point across. Like, you've always wanted to make indie games like like Jonathan Blow and Phil Fish and the like.
Yeah. I started programming in high school on Game Maker Studio, and I made some shitty games. And
you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, we all start from there.
Yeah. And I've been getting better with the years. I think, and a few years ago, I started trying to form a game studio with Alberto and Luis.
Yep.
And we have been releasing small games these 2 years, almost 3 years actually, and this is the first one that actually gains some attention, and people seem to be interested in it, and we are really happy with this game.
I mean, I think I can guess why. It's going for a nostalgic bent that you don't see a lot, in the indie scene, because we have a lot of indie folk on the program, and it's like not for nothing, but if they're usually going for the NES, the Super NES, maybe old computers. What I don't really see represented in terms of taking the old and turning it new, at least in this day and age, is the Atari 2600. And I suppose that's the most prominent question looking at the footage here. What makes you want to do a homage to an Atari 2600 game?
Well, I really like the concepts present in the original adventure, like the how you can only have one item at a time, and you have to like switch items to solve the puzzles in the adventure dungeon. I really liked that concept, and I don't know. I thought I could make. I thought we could make something interesting with that mechanically, and also the I'm a big fan of games like Humaniki or Faith. I don't know if you guys know those games.
I'm aware of like Yume Nikki and some of the other freeware kind of maker games.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the surreal horror, in surreal pixel art horror that those games offer. And I thought it made sense to combine that with the Atari aesthetic, because the Atari leaves a lot. The Atari aesthetic leaves a lot to the imagination. It's very minimalistic and simple, and that I think helps with the horror feeling. So that's why I thought that the idea of combining adventure with creepy with that creepy aesthetic was could work well. And that's it. That's why we started making the game. We wanted to make an horror game for a while, but we actually tried making another horror game before that we have not released, because we planned to release it on Halloween alongside this one, but this one did much better on Twitter and stuff. So we decided to go with this one and put all our efforts on this game. I don't know if I'm being clear. I'm sorry.
No, I think you are. Like, you were working on 2 horror games, and this one garnered attention, and the other didn't. So you elected to pour all your resources and development time into adventure here.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, those are fairly possible things to do. Like, and I will say it's it's an interesting and not an obvious pastiche, because, well, there are horror games on the Atari 2600. Like, I don't know if any of you played like Haunted House, or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre that actually got a game on the Atari 2600.
I haven't played those, but I know about Haunted House, because we did investigate a bit about that, about horror games in Atari.
We did some research.
What?
Continue.
Okay. we did investigate horror games in the Atari to make this game, and so we know about Haunted House, and I really like the ice aesthetic on that game. It's pretty cool. The thing is, what I said before, the Atari is a pretty good way of conveying that sense of not understanding what you are seeing, and that really helps with horror.
Right. Right. I mean, that was like kind of the entire aesthetic of the Atari 2600, and not just like the games themselves. I don't know if you've ever seen any like the Atari 2600 box art, because let's just say it's not really representative of the game inside. Like Breakout. Breakout is actually a really good example because I assume you all know what Breakout is. The original game. But if you look at the box art, if you read the manual, it turns out you're breaking out of jail.
It's
and not the only Atari 2600 game that did that kind of thing. But it's like the graphics were so primitive, they had to use the external resources available to them in order to do some additional conveyance. Now I will say adventure here is not quite that abstract, but it's still fairly rudimentary. Like I'm not sure if you're aware of the whole duck dragon meme. It's like the actual dragons in Venture. They look like ducks because of the bills, but
and just the limited number of pixels they have to draw a sprite.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting to your game. Now, clearly we can see just from the trailer footage here that there's a lot. There's a lot more going on than the original adventure. And indeed, I believe you described this as a roguelike of sorts.
It is currently a roguelike. We might remove that on following updates and make a more Zelda-like game with dungeons and stuff. We're not sure. But it is currently a roguelike because I thought it was a good idea to also how do you explain it, to help with the horror, to be lost, to feel lost on a maze helps with the horror, I think. So
So you're saying you might move away from procedural generation to some extent?
Yeah, we are still talking about that. We don't know if the procedural generation is going to stay on the following updates of the game. But
yeah, I agree. I agree that sometimes it can be good to make it scarier if you don't know exactly what's where on any given playthrough. But also, a more scripted experience can also help you make people have the experience you want them to have.
Yeah, and it fits better the original adventure feeling, because that wasn't a roguelike. It was more designed puzzle solving experience. So we might go there.
Well, the original adventure was okay. Well, first of all, it couldn't be a roguelike because it actually predates Rogue by about a year, if I'm remembering correctly. But it had elements of randomization. It's like all of the levels were built. It just it depended on which difficulty level you selected.
Yeah.
And what was randomized were all the items and monsters.
Yeah, I think that's the third level. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
one of the levels were randomized. You're right.
Yeah, that is the hardest difficulty. Where everything is shuffled about, which can make things harder, or it can make them really easier or impossible, because because it can generate like the chalice like in the yellow, right near the yellow castle, or it can put one of the keys in the castle.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
These
the
are
problem
things-
with procedural generation.
yeah. So it was like one of the first implementations of it. So there were some kinks to work out. But anyway, so what is going on in your adventure? Like, who are you? What are you doing out in these scary woods? That kind of thing.
Well, I don't want to spoil too much, but let's say most of the lore is meta stuff. Like it's around the game that you play. It's the lore and the story of this game is that you kind of find a cartridge of a weird unfinished sequel to adventure, and you try it, and then some weird stuff starts to happen, both inside the game and also kind of outside the game. Like I don't know if the I don't know if you've seen the trailer, but it's playing in the background actually. The beats at the end of the trailer where the screen breaks, that's part of it. That's part of the story of the game. That's part of the point that the game is trying to get across.
Yeah, that doesn't actually surprise me all that much, because once again, you mentioned like Yume Nikki, and a lot of the Japanese indie horror games kind of do that kind of thing. Like,
yeah, we wanted to make something like on the line in the line of Pony Island. Do you know Pony Island?
Coney Island.
It's an horror game. I know it doesn't sound like it, but it is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. And yeah, I do see some of like I see like the classic adventure sword spear thing and a shield. Are those actual items, or are those maybe something else?
No, they are items. The shield is actually it wasn't on the original adventure. The shield, it's an item we introduced here. We have also introduced more items that weren't in the original adventure. Most of which are used for puzzles or quests that you have to complete during the game to get some collectibles. It's kind of you can complete the game without getting the collectibles, but the full potential of the game is apparent when you try to solve the quests and the puzzles and get the collectibles. So there is some of the items are used for that, and some of the items are used just to help the player. Like the shields, for example, it just prevents you from taking damage twice. That's the mechanic of the shield. Mm, you know, that's it.
Yeah. I suppose in terms of the classic adventure homages, is that goddamn bat in this game?
Repeat, please. I didn't understand.
Uh, is that bat from Adventure in this thing? You know, the bat that would snatch the item from you.
Oh, the bat.
Oh no. There's no bad here. Actually, we wanted to implement a bad and the bridge, which are very core things on the original adventure, but we haven't had time to implement those yet. We probably will implement more things from the original adventure later on, but they are not in the game as of right now. The bat and the bridge, which are I really want to get to implement the bridge because it's a very interesting item, I think.
Yes, right. Yeah, for those who don't know, in the original adventure, there is this bridge that allows you to basically cross the screen. You know, you're crossing water, but once again, it's the Atari 2600, so rendering capabilities are a bit limited.
Yeah. You don't know if there is water or a wall or.
Yeah. Like I said, you're assuming it's water because it's a bridge, and
Yeah.
a bridge over a wall doesn't make sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
Unless it's a very cartoony universe. But anyway, and the famed dragons, are they somewhere in this current build?
Well, there is a dragon. There is a dragon hidden in the maze, and you can defeat it actually. So I don't want to spoil too much about that. But yeah, there is a dragon.
Fair enough. It's up to the player to see if it's a Fuhugu Goss or not. And you mentioned like the goal of completing the game. Is that in line with the original adventure? Like, do you have to go out and find the chalice and bring it back to the castle, or do you have to do something else?
You can currently the game is divided on floors, on three floors like Binding of Isaac style. It's three randomized floors, and
Right.
there is an ending after the third floor. But there is also the collectibles you can get by doing the quests and the puzzles, and those unlock another ending, which is a very interesting ending.
Okay. And I suppose, given the state and flux of content right now, like how much of the game is complete? And how much more do you think is yet to be added?
Well, that's a difficult question because the game when we released the trailer and the beta for the newsletter subscribers, what we had planned was to finish the game for Halloween, like this month. But the thing is, it's had a lot more. It's gained a lot more attention that we expected. So plans have changed about that, and we are actually planning on making a bigger project about with this idea. That's why I said that we are planning to remove the roguelike, because we are right now we are on pre-production kind of for this bigger idea. We are still defining stuff, um, defining stuff, and deciding what to do with this bigger game. So I don't have clear answers to that, because we are in a situation right now that we still have a lot of doubts with about what to do with the game.
I mean, that's fine and well enough. How long has Adventure been in development?
We finished this in this beta, this prototype, however you want to call this. We finished it in 2 months. But we are going to spend much more time probably expanding it and making this bigger game I was talking about.
Right. And given how much, let's say, referential material is in this current build of Adventure, have you caught the eye of Atari? Have you, or are you worried about catching the eye of Atari?
Well, it is obviously a concern, but I don't think we are really competing with Atari with this game, because I mean it's a totally different experience really to the original Adventure. So I don't think we are a problem to Atari. But that said, it is possible that Atari sees this game and don't like that we have that many references to their source. So if that happens, they will probably talk to us before taking legal action, because I mean I hope they don't just take legal action. And if that happens, well, we will have to change some stuff probably, but I think we're going to be fine. We thought about this stuff, and nothing we have in the game is literally literally the same as in the original Adventure. The castle is different. It is designed such that it reminds you of the original Adventure, but it is not actually an exact copy. The sprites are not of the original sprites. So yeah, I think we're gonna be fine. But yeah, it's always possible. But yeah.
True enough. But I think the pivotal juncture here might be in this question: is this meant to be a commercial release, or is this going to be a freeware when it gets complete?
We want the plan is to be is for it to be a commercial release. Yes, but it's everything is. There's nothing decided yet about that stuff. I mean, yeah, the plan is to be is for it to be a commercial release, but that might change. We we don't know.
Fair enough, I suppose, at this stage. But I can say that that is a decision that will make a profound, weight on Atari if they ever find out about this project. Because I know this kind of thing varies from company to company, but I also know the equation changes a lot when actual money is involved. I know this isn't a fan project or anything like that, but like I said, there's a lot of, I don't know how legally distinct this stuff is from actual adventure stuff. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just saying that, I could see a C&D come that way, under the right circumstances. Anyway, so is there any music in this game?
Any what? Repeat.
Is there any music? Like any sort of soundtrack?
My friend
I
Alberto can talk about that.
I took part of the audio level. So yeah, I did a bit of research about Atari, and it seems that it was very limited in terms of audio. They had like only 2 channels, which means that you can only play 2 sounds at the same time. And there is also very low memory. So that means basically no music. Like most of the Atari games have no music whatsoever, and there are just some exceptions, like Pitfall. There some of those games have music, but the vast majority didn't have.
Well, I can let you in on the secret to that. A lot of those games had extra chips in them to allow for. And this isn't a thing that was just limited to like the Atari 2600. Like there was stuff like this on the Master System, the NES. Basically, that was one of the nice things about cartridges. You could increase the output of a console by putting stuff in a cartridge.
Yeah. I read about that, and still it was very limited. So when I did my approach to this project, I was like, I don't know if I should play more in a rigorous way, like limiting a lot the audio and making like very like not making music, or maybe like making like very short music, or should I make some sort of like a step away from that constraint. And I try to make it like a bit of both. Like right now there's basically no more than 2 sounds at the same time. Like I try to respect that 2 channels constraint, but I really think in the future to getting away from it, and yeah,
that is understandable. Like, there are people, and who try to stick to the original aesthetics or sound fonts or whatever. But it's like the developers of the age had to work around that just out of necessity, not because they really wanted to.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a lot of retro games that actually break the rules of the things that they're emulating. So
Yeah. I mean,
don't feel too bad about it.
yeah, I think the thing is that nostalgic is not the same that realistic in a way that people tend to remember.
Yeah, a lot of good nostalgia games make the game be the way that you remember it being, not the way it actually was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
We're also realizing that some stuff back in the day was just not good.
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, so you've mentioned a few times that this game has a beta out. If you subscribe to a newsletter, how long has this beta been a thing, and what's been the response by people who have actually engaged in said beta?
People really like it. We had a form that they could fill up after playing the game, and we got a lot of feedback from players that way. And we have been making changes according to that feedback, but it's generally positive feedback. We didn't have much negative feedback at all, and we actually released an update like yesterday with a lot of changes based on that feedback we got, and fixing bugs and stuff. We released this, I think, last month. I don't remember the exact date that we released the trailer and the beta, but it was last month, and yeah, you still can get the game by subscribing to the newsletter. Yeah, I don't know if I have much more to say about that.
Fair enough. And you are up in the air about a lot of things right now, but
yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have much information.
okay. Well, I will at least ask this. What is your next implementation? What is the next step for adventure here?
Well, it's hard to know because we are basically redesigning the whole game for the bigger release. So it's hard to know right now. But I can say that we have the update that we just released has two new quests that people have not played because we just released it, and it has a Halloween Easter egg that only appears during Halloween night. So I'm hoping some people play during Halloween and they encounter the new stuff.
Just a few days away at time of recording.
Yes.
And if I'm recalling, the game is currently housed on itch.io, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. it is we have a page, but it doesn't have the game in it because we require people to subscribe to the newsletter because it's private prototype thing.
Well, my actual question is, are you looking to release the larger game on itch, or are you aiming for Steam?
We are aiming for Steam. Mm, probably CO2. We don't know, but the main focus is Steam now.
Okay. And well, I suppose that's about it for my set of questions. I'll see if my colleagues here have anything further for you.
I think I'm good.
I think I piped up when I had stuff.
Petty?
I think I'm good.
Petty here?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't switch
thanks.
over. I'm good.
Yeah. Hear this there for a minute because, kind of
Yeah.
need the machinery.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm good.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, I think that'll about do it here. It was good having you three on the program to talk about this. Like I said, what I've seen so far looks very interesting, and I look forward to seeing which direction this ends up taking. In the meantime, the beta for Adventure can be found by subscribing to their newsletter. Where can they find the? Where can they go to? Can people go to subscribe to said newsletter?
In our page, Croxel Studios, and or Twitter, we have the link on Twitter too, I think.
Yeah,
All
just
right,
look up for Crossel Studios.
Just look for Croxel Studios on Google and you will find it.
all right then. So yeah, that'll about do it for this installment of Fragments of Silicon. Be sure to tune in next time when we have our Sunday reviews. And until then, we shall wish you good gaming.
Nice. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.